Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Inhabit Mars channel. This video has taken a while, not so much because of the complexity of the image, but more the fact of working, and we all got sick over between Christmas and New Year's, and then just everything going on during that time also. But we finally got this video, got the model done so we could get this video out. The girls wanted to be in the video tonight, so bear with us. They're going to be in our video. Um, this video is actually taken from one of Chris's videos that he posted on January 21st of 2021, and I'll put a link to this video. It's called Dwellings and Technology Found on Mars, and of course he posted that on his Mars Anomalies and Beyond channel. This actually, he I think he had posted this before, but this is a new update to the video where I think it was Jim West found some more anomalies in the images, so Chris reposted the video. Well, I took a look at the video and I found several structures and different things which we'll go through. Now, to save a little time, I'm going to go ahead and go into Blender Live. And as you can see here, we've got our scene in Blender. And I want to start with this panel here because this is taken from the Gigapan that was uploaded by Neville Thompson and on his Giga Macro page. And hang on, sweetie. And there's just some fantastic structures. So really briefly, I'm going to go through some of these structures. And then I'm going to have Jenny, my wife, help me go through some of these and tell you what she thought some of these images were. And let's start right over here. This is one of the first things that I noticed, and even Chris talked about this. And we found what looks like several structures in this image. Huh, baby? You want a kiss? Oh, I love you. Here, on this left-hand side, and you can see where I'm pointing right here with the mouse. This is one structure over here, and we'll look at those in the 3D model and on the panels that we have. And then here's a second structure here, and the third structure here. And these two I thought at first were one structure, but as we looked at them closer, we kind of came to the conclusion that these were three separate structures. And then you can see that actually the wall continues this way. And then we found some more stuff up in this area up here, which was pretty interesting. And then it's always hard to find. Oh, right here. And then we found what looks like a roadway with collapsed bridge. And in fact, in the images, we found several roadways. I wish I would have had time to model all of this, but sadly, based on the time that I had available this last couple of months, I was really far behind, and I didn't get to model as much as I wanted to. So we have several structures there, and this is one that Chris pointed out. This rock just doesn't look natural. I tried to bring out more detail on it, and I couldn't really see anything in any more detail. And then same with this rock here. I mean, as you look at it, and if you look in the original images, you can see that there's just stuff in here that doesn't quite look natural. And then we get over to this over here, and I've got better detail on some of the stuff over here that I will show you. I don't want a Cheeto right now, sweetie. All right, we'll get into that as we go across here. And this is the hill right here where I spent a lot of time trying to decipher what was in here and modeling this stuff. This was really cool, and it's not very high detailed right now, but you'll see once I get into the model. So I want to start with this panel. Let's see. let's go with this one here. This is that part on the right-hand side that I just showed you. And we have several things we want to look at in here, including this whole set of structures back here. And I didn't get time to model all the way across, which I wanted to, but this is taking too long, and I've got another video that I need to get out. Let's start with this one here. Chris pointed this out in his video, and this is another one of those rocks that had a lot of interesting shapes in it. And I was wanting to get back to this one and start modeling some of these shapes, but based on time and everything, I wasn't able to. Here's another Cheeto. All right, so I got to the rock on this one, but don't worry, we've got plenty of stuff in here to look at. The next thing that I wanted to look at was this right here. This was pretty interesting. Now, if you look here in this image, it's hard to see, but it's there. And once I show you this 3D model of it, I think you'll see what I'm talking about. The first thing to notice is what looks like fabric laying on top of this cylinder. And did you see this when you looked at it? Was that what you saw, what looked like fabric right there?
Yeah.
And it looked like it was covering a cylinder. You could see how the cylinder continues back to about here where the fabric drapes off. And so
that part right there, go back down. I don't know if that's part of the thing, I think it is. Never mind. That black part.
Yeah, that's part of that cylinder.
So well, no, I was talking about the grid part. That's part of the.
No, that's part of Blender because we're in perspective mode.
Right.
So
okay.
I'm going to separate these two right now so you can kind of get an idea. We'll put him back down here for now. This right here is that fabric, and I textured it with the image texture so you could get a good view of that. All right, and this is what it looks like, and it's covering that cylinder. And then here's the cylinder as it continues back underneath that fabric. Now, what that is, I don't know. It's quite large, whatever it is, because you can see our structures in the background. Unless those are very small structures, then this cylinder would be quite large. And it was pretty interesting to look at just because it's sitting on the side of that hill and it doesn't seem like it should be there, you know. And then the next thing that we have, what, sweetie? You want another Cheeto? I might have to give her Cheetos. She's apparently impatient tonight. She wanted to be up here, but you gotta pay attention to the video. All right, so let's get into this structure here. Now, let me move it out of the way and back up just a little bit. We'll move it down so you can see how the detail isn't going to be the greatest. And believe me, it took a lot for us to decipher. Several people looked at this, told me the same thing, that, yeah, they saw definite structures up here. And we only got to model to about here. Sadly, it kind of gets a little too blurry on this side, but most of your main part of the structure is right here. And there's several pieces to it. First, we have this part right here. And you can see it's got a square shape to it. It's got what looks like some sort of building or structure in the middle of it.
You may have to put some Cheetos on there for her.
There you go, sweetie. There's some more Cheetos. And then it's got this tower right here. If you can see that sticks up higher than the other parts. And that tower is right here. It's dark, but you can see how it comes down at an angle. Here's your square structure right here. And then it's got this piece right here, which is got a round shape on the top that's sticking right on the front of this part right here. And then it's got these two squares that sit right here. All right. And then the next part is this piece right here. Okay, and it seems to be some sort of wall that separates everything, and that's this right here. All right, and boy, I should have unwrapped the sides of that. I thought I did.
Probably would have been helpful.
Yeah, but you can get the idea of what we're looking at. And then you, no, sweetie, don't touch the buttons. And then we got this other square piece right here. All right. And then here's another square piece. Okay, and it's actually got something sticking out the front. It was hard to come to a consensus of what that was, but it seems to maybe have a triangular shape to the front and one on the side. All right, and you can kind of see that here in the front of this squared wall. And then you can see that other triangular piece right here. And then this piece, I have no idea what this is supposed to be, but this is the shape that it has. All right. And it actually almost butts up against this triangular piece right here. So, and that's a shape, kind of a number 7 shape in a way. And then right behind that was this horseshoe shape, which we did model and put in there. And then we have another, maybe some sort of statue or something. But this is the shape that it has. You can see the square box on the bottom. You can see how this comes up at an angle. And then you can see the round ball on top. And I really, like I said, I wanted to put more effort into this, but just with work trying to catch up on everything, just haven't had a whole lot of time, and this has already taken a long time to do. Next, I want to get to this big structure, which Chris pointed out in his video. I believe that this is, as Chris from Mars Anomalies, if I didn't say that already, pointed out, this is a big structure, and Chris has talked a lot about how maybe the Martians had underground structures, and as these are collapsing, we're starting to see inside. And we can see what looks like different structures here. This one is on the part that collapsed. See this square, this rectangular area here, which seems to be a continuation of the rest of the building. All right, and I'm going to move these out of the way once we get over to this side. But we have this building right here, which kind of reminded me of like a Spanish church. All right, and it had these two cover things. I didn't know if these were like parking spaces, covered parking spaces, or what, but they were there. And you can see them right here. All right, and then you can see this doorway or whatever it is on the side of the building here. And then we had what looks like steps coming down over on the side. Where was that? It's kind of hard to see in this part of the image. Oh, it's there. It's just dark. This is all that dark area right here. All right, and you can see that, but it's very hard to get any detail, of course, but that's kind of what that looks like right there. All right. And then let's go back to our perspective view and let's grab all of this and move it out of the way. Let's see, can I get those buildings and this? Grab on this edge. Okay, there we go. Oh, I missed a building. Hold on.
Whoops.
There it is. Grab on this edge again. Okay, here we go. So, as you can see, at first I thought this was a wall here. But as I burned through the image, adjusted the contrast and everything, what is happening here is you're actually looking inside of this where this whole part over here has collapsed. And you can actually see these building structures in there. And I went ahead and modeled them so that I could show you what they look like. Let me grab those and place them back in place. Oops. Okay, so if I put them kind of back in place, it might make it easier for you to pick these out, but this one seemed to have openings all around it. So it was opened up and it was inside of this. All right. Let's see if I can rotate around it. And it had a lot of sand building up on this side. We could see that in the burn image. And that's right here, this dark structure right here. Can I get close enough where you can see that without it breaking up too much? See how it looks open? You can see the floor inside of this. Look at all the sand building up over here on the side of it. All right, the sand is actually coming in from this angle and it's building up over here. All right, and you've got openings over here and you can see that floor on the inside of this first building. All right, and there was more in here, but it just gets too pixelated to see the rest of the building. But these are buildings back here too, and they seem to be inside of this large structure. All right, so that's what that looked like. Don't touch it, sweetie. All right, and that's the large structure. I just textured it in concrete because that way it's easy for you to see. Thank you for the soggy Cheeto. All right, Aurora. And then we had this other building. I should have. Let me see if I can still move that. Is it me or is it? Yeah, it's rotated wrong. How did that happen? There it is. Okay. All right, and this is kind of what this one looked like. It had some steps over here and this raised area around the roof, as we'd have on some modern buildings today. And just so you can see that, let me move them out of the way. And there you go. There's that building. The steps are over here. Hard to make out. It's the best images we're going to get. But it's there. The building is there. You can see the structure. And there's actually more of them in here, but it's too hard to make some of these out. So I had to choose the best ones to model. Hold on, sweetie. So that's what we found in that panel. And in this one, I wanted to go back to this. She's got a chip. Oh, geez, girl, don't touch the buttons. I wanted to get back to this one, but once again, based on time, I just couldn't get back to it. But the main thing that stuck out over here was this. I don't know if this is a building or a vehicle. It kind of looked like, well, depending on how you looked at it, it looked like both, but it's right here. You can see this right here. It looks like it's got this piece that sticks up, which we went ahead and modeled. And then it looks like it has this arched entryway right here, and that's right here. And then this lower entryway right here, which has this kind of V cutout right there. And I went ahead and modeled it in blue and tan so that it would stand out. So hopefully I wouldn't forget it because it's a very interesting looking structure. And we spent a lot of time on that. And what did you think of this one, darling? Vehicle or building? Let me back up a little bit. Did you have a chance? I don't remember if I showed you this one.
No, you didn't show me this one.
But you see from the model and from the image?
Well, the model to me looks different from the image.
Okay, in what way?
Well, it looks like, the image looks like one of those toy rockers for kids. Like a horse rocker. They sit on it and they rock back and forth, you know?
Okay.
That's what it looks like. And
where would they sit, right here or?
No, those two are the handles, and then right there is the seat.
Oh, okay.
And then that's the nose.
Ah, all right. So we have that one. We'll call it our horse rocker then. And I wish I could have got back, because if you look back here, this looks like a lot more. This looks like a structure, looks like a building back here and something here. Just wish I would have had time. But I promise you, I am going to show you something in these images that just is incredible. And I'll try to get over here real quick before you get a good look at it, because we're going to go back and look at that. Well, darn, I'm going to have to go to that because I have it in all three of these images. Okay. So, and Jenny did look at this one, and you came up with the same thing, right? We won't say what it is yet. This right here.
Is there way more?
No, because then it'll show what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I don't want to say it yet because this is my piece de resistance right here. Okay, so I wanted to show this right here. And I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way. And you really had to adjust the contrast on this to see it. And this is about the best I came up with. But we're pretty sure we're right on this because three of us came to agreement on this, and we were pretty much on the same thing. This right here looks like a roadway, a divided roadway on top of that. You can see one side and you can see the other side. And then it goes across this bridge. I love you. Then it goes across this bridge, which is collapsed right here in the middle. And let me bring the model down just a little bit so you can see that. All right. And here's the part of the bridge that would be collapsed. Let's see if I can get around the right angle here. All right. Right there would be the part that's collapsed, and then the roadway continues on up the mountain. Move it out from the panel. There we go. And then you got some of these structures in there, and these were hard to make out. This one right here, I lightened it, darkened it, did everything, burn tool, dodge tool, anything to try to bring this out. Brought up the black levels, brought them back down. I looked at it every way I could, and this seems to be pretty close to the shape that we saw in that bridge. And what these things are in front of the bridge, I don't know if they're part of the bridge or if they're structures sitting in front of the bridge. It almost looks like some of the other images we've seen where we had the temple structure, and inside of this would be a statue, but you can't get any detail to see if there's a statue in there. And then you've got this one right here, which is modeled right here, that looks like just a flat piece where maybe you'd have another statue sitting there. And so that was interesting. And by the way, on this part of the bridge, you can see this 1, 2, 3, like it's 3 levels, and we did model that. Let's see if we can get in on that so you can see it. All right. So you've got, oh, I didn't unwrap that either. Boy, I tell you, that's what I get for rushing to get it done. Yeah, let's look at the front side. It looks better. It's unwrapped correctly, isn't it? No, it's not. Wow. I didn't unwrap any. I guess I was supposed to go back and do that, and I forgot. But you get the idea. It's 3 levels is what it looks like, but we only have one roadway. So is this a support structure or what? I'm not sure. But if you look at the image, you can see that even in the front, you've at least got the one that comes across, but you've got 1, 2, and then 3. And then this roadway continues, and it goes behind what looks like a structure here that, as Chris has mentioned, is either disguised as a hill or is built into a hill. I think it's more disguised as a hill because we've got some cracking and pieces falling away as if it was made of concrete or something like that, that just is deteriorating over the years. All right. Oh, and then I almost forgot to mention this one. How come I don't see that real well? Where are you? You've got this piece right here which I want to make sure I get it right. I don't see it real well in this image. I don't think I have a better close-up. Oh, yeah, I do on another panel. Let's see. Is it down here? No. Where did I have that image? But I guess I'll just kind of stumble my way through it because I'm not seeing it right now. When I adjusted the contrast, I really saw it. It's part of this round structure here. And it seemed to have this other disc that was sticking up vertically with these 4 braces. Oops, that's not going to work. Okay, there we go. These 4 braces that ran perpendicular to each other. I don't know why I can't see it now. I saw it so clearly on that one image, and now I just don't seem to see it. And then when I go back and look at the video, I'll be like, oh, there it is, because that's what happened the last time I did that. I was like, well, maybe I imagined, and then I went back and looked at the video, and it was there. Oh, is this it? This might be it right here. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you have this round disc. All right, and if you go to Neville Thompson's Gigapan, I believe you can see it pretty clear on there. Sometimes when I bring these into Blender, they don't come out the clearest. And then this is the last piece I really wanted to talk about. And let me move this in the way. Now, I looked at this. I sent it to several people to look at. You know what? Let's go this way. And I'm just going to put this next to the model next to it. And, babe, I want you to describe this because I couldn't believe this. And you look at it. Is this the clearest I have of it? Hold on. Let's go to this one because this is even closer up. Grab on the Y. Oops. Control-C. Okay. It's not much clearer because the picture started breaking up, but we'll use this one because this is a closer in shot of it. And what did you think when you saw this part of the image right here?
It was some kind of dump truck.
So we're saying that this image... Hold on, sweetheart. Oh, just take that. Quit complaining. Okay, so we're saying that on Mars, we have vehicles. Now, we've shown what looks like vehicles before, but it always blows me away when I see what looks like a clear image of a truck. Now, I say clear, it's obviously can't see any detail, but can you point out some of the things here? You can use the mouse so they can see what you're pointing at that you noticed specifically that made this look like a truck.
Well, I noticed this bedding, this part right here.
The bed,
Bedding. And then I saw what looks like sand in the back of it. And then I saw the engine. And that's what made it look like a truck.
Okay. And did you notice what looks like wheels down here?
I saw one, but I didn't see the other ones that you saw.
And then the cab of the truck is the other thing I noticed. That's what it looks like as a truck.
All right. Stop. Sorry. This child is...
And everything. I want to show something. Now, I happen to take this image and look at closest vehicles we have here on Earth to this. And I was really shocked because the truck that I modeled our model off of, and I believe, oops, let's go on the Z. This is a 1939 Volvo truck. And I just went ahead and I picked that because it was pretty close to what we were looking at. All right, and I just did a quick model. This is not a very high-res model. In fact, can you see the detail underneath if I go here? Kind of. All right, and we've got the wheels, we've got the frame. I put all this in and I modeled it, and I said, okay, you know, this is the closest truck I could see to the shape of the one that was in the image. And now when I dropped this model onto our image, let me move it out of the way. Oops. Can you see how close that looks to it? Now, I should have put the steps in under the cab, but you look at the shape, and of course, there's something here that's actually in the bed. Anna, one of the people that helped us with the images, said it looked actually like a gun turret, and you know, it kind of does, and it also could be maybe a hoist, like you'd have, you know, to lift up an engine or something, or anything heavy that you'd need to lift up a big crate to put it, you know, to lift it into the bed. But there's something in the bed, but it looks very, very close to a 1939 Volvo truck, which, like I say, was the closest I could find. That right there astounded me. But you can see the two wheels. You could see the hood right here. All right. Here's the cab. You can almost make out the glass on the windshield. And that's the cab. And that's the bed. If that's not a truck, I'd sure like someone to point out to me what that could be. And when we drop that, let's go to our 3D model now, because I want to start showing this stuff in the 3D model. And when we drop that in there, I was just shocked at how close it looks to a truck from here on Earth. I mean, just almost exactly. You could drop that in here on Earth, and probably no one would know the difference. Well, at least back in the 1930s, they probably wouldn't. Nowadays, we think, oh, what an antique truck. Okay, there's one other object I almost forgot to point out, and I don't even know what to make of this thing. Let me go back to the panel that it's in. So I want to get into the 3D model. It's on this side. One other object. I don't know, there's a traffic light that would be out, or something in the parking lot, but I want to show you this. It's right here. And you see this shape to it, and I hate when it does that. Okay. And then I'm going to rotate around it so you can see the shape of it. But it seems to have this pipe that comes out on this side. It seems to have this these panel pieces that come out probably on both sides. I went ahead and modeled on both sides, but we can see it on this side. And then these four spiky pieces that stick up on the corners of the top piece. And there's a base on it. And this, and let me show you what that looks like, the image again. Let me go back to the image of it. Here it is, and you can see that base right there, kind of a rectangular base. You can see the thinner part. Let me slide this over so you can see. And it starts to widen out, and then it goes into a more squarish, more rectangular type structure here, and then it goes into this top piece, which is up here, this darker part. I'm sorry, this part right here is actually this part right here. And then you can see those panel pieces. This building's in the way. There we go. And here's that pipe. And it comes up and it curves to where if this thing were standing straight up, you know, if you tilted it straight up, that pipe would be angled down. What is that thing? I don't know. Which orientation does it sit in? It looks like this should be the bottom and this should be the top. Hard to tell. But this is what that thing looks like. Okay, you're pulling on my arm, sweetie. So what that thing is, I don't know. All right, let's go to the 3D model. Because I want to show you this stuff, how it looked in the 3D model, because that's the part I love, is the 3D. Okay, so what I did was I took the Gigapan, zoomed in pretty close and snipped pieces of it, stitched it all back together, and that created both this panel over here, which we looked at. All right. And I just kind of snipped and stitched it back together so we could get higher res images of it. And then I laid the panel down on a flat plane, and then I started modeling from there with that other panel in the background, so you could kind of see it. We're at 35 minutes, so I'm gonna try to keep this part short. I only had, I think, about somewhere to here of this bluish silt, so I went ahead and cloned it and moved it this way. I grabbed a texture from Texture Haven to fill out this front portion and the back portion. So these are not the actual image textures from the model. These are from Texture Haven, which I love. I love Texture Haven. There's a few good sites that I really love that has some good free textures. And then I just started modeling these hills. All right, and they're low poly models, of course, to save processing power and keep the computer running pretty fast. Okay, and so I modeled the hills as best as I could make out from the image. I know that like this hill here, this one here, and this one here, and this one here are all where that blue silty layer is that a lot of people think is water, but I don't believe this is water because it kind of goes up a hill, and if you look at the ripples, it seems like if it was water, it'd be flowing this way, which would be uphill, you know. So I don't think it is, but we could be wrong on that. But like I said, I know these four hills are definitely in the foreground, and then we have this one and this one that are in the middle ground, okay? And then this one is right behind it, and then you've got some back here in this background. And most of our objects that we worked on are here on this hill. And like I said, I wish I would have got to some of the stuff on here, but I have two other videos I'm working on right now, and I'm going to show you a preview of that one here. Okay, I got to hurry. Here are those structures, and this is modeled on the hill in the same location as it would be. In fact, you can see that one right behind it if I lift them up. All right, you can see those underneath there. It'll be stretched a little bit because of taking the hill and modeling it in 3D, but I wanted to point out when you originally look at this before you burn through it, and by the way, these are the actual textures. This doorway right here with steps is the actual texture from the model, and then I just extruded it out where that fit on the texture. So you kind of see, let's just click just on this one, how that fits in there. All right, and this wall right here is just conjecture. I just made a guess that if this one stuck out like this, that this one did, but it's actually being blocked by this building right here. So we have what looks like a doorway with steps leading out right here. And there may have been another one, and Chris pointed this out in his video, that this may be a doorway also over here. And then we have this more rounded one right here. And I want to zoom in close because when we did the burn and adjusted the contrast, we realized that there used to be a door frame right here and some sort of round thing here, but that this was open and we were actually looking inside of that. So if you go back to either Chris's video or Neville Thompson's Gigapan and look at that, zoom in on this area because you can actually see inside of this building. I think you're going to be at an angle like something like this right here. Hey, darling, you're bumping my arm. I think you're going to be at an angle something like this right here. And you can actually see in that, and you can see how that frame is broken right there. And this whole piece of wall right here was actually gone. So you could actually see inside of there. And then this structure here, same thing. This part right here is either a doorway or this part of the wall is gone. It was too hard to tell which it was. I went ahead and modeled it like it was some sort of entryway, but I could be wrong on that. And then over here, I don't know what this little thing was, but it was there in the image. I should have pointed that out on the panel, but that's kind of what that looks like. All right, all right. What do you want, Laura?
To be said in my lap, but I have to pick up everything that she dropped.
Okay. And also the roof here, we had another image from another saw, and I couldn't find it. I looked at that image. I believe it was another Neville Thompson Gigapan. You could see that the roof was actually completely collapsed. You could see these 3 spars underneath it. And I can't remember. It might have been 2963 or something. And here. And that was pretty interesting, but it looked like it was collapsed. In fact, this part of the roof, if I look at it this way, looked like, ooh, I went too far. Looked like it had sunken down. So we went ahead and modeled it as sunken on this part because it really looked like it was sunken down and then it was completely gone in this area. So that was that. Now that truck is up on this same hill right here where that roadway with the collapsed bridge is, and that truck is right here. Can you see it on the texture? Yeah, it's real blurry, but it's right there. That's where that truck is. And then you get over to, there's stuff I wanted to point out on one of these. Not that one, because that's just a copy of this right here. If it was at the right perspective, you'd see it. But some of the texturing on this rock really does, as Chris said, look like structure, like something manufactured. Yep, in a minute, sweetie. What? Embarrass me on video. I can't even open a Gatorade.
I don't have to do that.
Yeah,
You
thanks.
do that on your own.
Yeah, I love you too. See how loving my wife is. Okay, and then we get over here to this hill and we see those structures. Oh, I forgot to point out this rock on the panel, but it was really interesting. It actually had this rectangular cutout in this rock. Wow, okay, 42 minutes.
So, it's time to stop.
Yeah. But here's that post again with the fabric cover on it. All right, so now let me show you what we're going to do on our next video if we don't get this interview with Bruce going. Wow, that was good. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with Sarah Michelle's work, and I've been wanting to do this video for quite a while, and we've been going through her Antarctica stuff, and we are just finding some pretty incredible stuff, and I just want to show you I've been working on this. I've got a lot of work to do, but let's go ahead and go to the 3D model. And we started by, of course, if I can get it to go, let me click on something. There we go. By doing the terrain and stuff. And you kind of see some of the structures we're working on. These structures, I have a theory on what they are. And I don't want to say until we get into the actual video, but I just want to show you these structures are right here. There's 3 of them that are very similar. Let me see if I can move it out of the way. Okay, now the orientation is different because I had to angle them at the inlet right here to the ocean. All right, but on the panel, the orientation will be right. But you can see these. There's one right here. Let me put you back. There's one right there. Okay, it's going to be a little less detailed because it's going more and more into the background, but it is, you can see in the image, it's angled out to this inlet into the sea or the ocean. And we have one more right there. See that opening right there? And you can see that little, see how this one has that little cutout area right there where I think it's just gotten packed with snow over time and whatnot. But there's 3 right there. And then also on this part right here, we have this building here. Okay. And the front does seem to be open, which we did, model it as open. And of course, this area where she was talking about, that Tesla tower in front of this hill, okay, we went ahead and modeled everything that we could see in there and put as much detail into it as we could. This is going to take a little bit of time, but I've gotten a good bit modeled already, and thankfully it looks like I unwrapped everything correctly on this one. And then here's the hillside. I just modeled it in front of the hill because, as she talked about, this is actually like docks right here. All right, where you'd come in this way, and then you'd come into the docks here. And one thing that shocked me was right in the middle of this frozen part, there seems to be a boat sitting there. And this definitely looks like a boat to me. You can see it right here. The back kind of slopes down. You've got that cutout rectangular area, which would probably be where the prop is on the boat. This right here is curved around as if it were the cabin. And of course, a deck in the front. And that, to me, looks a whole lot like a boat. So we're going to get into that in the next video. Hopefully, it doesn't take months to get this next one out. I actually got off early today, thankfully, because I caught Chris's chat today on the Perseverance landing on Mars. So I got to watch that live. I was glad about that. And I went ahead and took off early today. And this structure right here we're going to get into also. This is what she believed it was a dam, and she's probably right. And then she's got roadways she marked out here. This looks like interstate with interchanges, you know, to different areas, and it quite possibly could be. And you have to remember that this is Antarctica, and what is this stuff doing down there? I don't know. Okay. Make sure I go to the right one. But all right, guys, looks like my kiddos are getting tired. Hopefully, everybody's being safe out there and taking care of themselves. You want to say bye to everybody, sweetie? Say bye-bye. Mars. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, thank you. You guys have yourself a great one, and enjoy your week, and hopefully we see everybody in the chat tomorrow. Tomorrow, Mars Anomalies live chat at, well, my time is 3 o'clock, which is Mountain Time. Chris's time, he's on Eastern Time, is 5 o'clock Eastern Time. So hopefully we'll see everybody there. Mars Anomalies and Beyond, 5 p.m. tomorrow Eastern Time. Y'all have a good evening.